I don't know how many hours I've put into Genshin, but I feel like it's my entire life.
Pretty much.
You are not gonna know what to do with yourself when you max out everything.
Probably make fan art of every character, and then masturbate.
I'm so
sounds like
glad that everybody
like
can
a
hear
plan.
that. I'm so glad everybody can hear that.
Sounds like a plan.
That was great. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 29 of Next Gen Newsweek, your weekly podcast for things to listen to after you've stuffed your face with all your Thanksgiving leftovers all week.
That's the only thing you're stuffing your face with.
Yes.
Nice.
Before bedtime, yes, that's all you stuff your face
Before bedtime. After bedtime, though, you're listening to us. And
I didn't know that was the etiquette.
with. Yeah. My name is Mitch. Joining me with this marvelous cast of Hollywood squares, starting in the top left for you viewers at home. Steven, who
Konnichiwa.
got him in the middle of a water take. Top right, Richard.
Hello.
And bottom right, Michael.
Howdy.
I would like to start this off by hoping everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and shout out to Richard for taking over for a couple weeks so I could get some school stuff straightened out because,
Yay!
boy, college sucks.
I'm sorry I got negative comments that one
Now he's a
time.
learned man.
He got a negative comment on
I got a negative comment.
the most watched live episode of all time so far. So you can't really complain about it. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump in because we have not a lot, but some fun stuff we have to talk about. Some fun stuff, you know. The first thing being this article that actually pertains to Xbox and PlayStation all in one, which doesn't happen a lot. But Phil Spencer, Richard's favorite person to talk about.
Oh yeah.
He actually
Number one fan.
Yeah, he really likes the DualSense controller. So he did an interview with GameSpot talking about how he likes a lot of the features, parts like the haptic feedbacks in the controller, among other things, and actually thinks that this is the kind of stuff that is very innovative, that he could see that it's going to be one of those things that latches on in the gaming industry. So in the future, we could potentially see newer Xbox controllers with these types of features built into them. So Richard, being the only one with a PS5, do you think that this is is the DualSense the right generational leap that you would like to see to hit every major console?
Well, it hit my console, so
I would say it hit
I'm
mine, but
I'm already in the home stretch there.
Yeah.
I will say that I did like what Phil Spencer said, how he talked about, in the industry, consoles can learn from one another, taking ideas from, a controller aspect, or I think he mentioned the Wii. He also mentioned like Game Pass Ultimate, which I guess Sony's got something in the works that's going to be similar. So his whole idea of in the industry, working together, I thought it was really poignant from someone who works for a company that buys a multi-platform developer and then reserves the right to keep those titles console, specific. So yeah, that's what I think of Phil Spector. So you can go to somebody else.
Phil Spector.
Spector, Spencer. I don't like him.
Michael, being our PC gamer, would you like to see haptic feedback come to your controllers while you're playing Genshin Impact?
Yeah, that'd be great. Especially with all the Lisa audio in Japanese, I would love haptic feedback with that.
There's a reference there, and I'm just not getting it, but it's okay. One day I'll be as cool as Michael in Genshin Impact.
You hope to.
Yeah.
You hope to.
And this actually kind of works out because I kind of do everything. Steven's mostly Xbox, Richard, you're mostly PlayStation, Michael's mostly PC. So I get to just jump to everyone in their console fandom and see how they feel about it. So last but not least with Xbox, Steven, a lot of the stuff that the DualSense has, like with these haptics and stuff, there is, to an extent, there is some of that with the Xbox One controller as far as like the force feedback with the controller. But would you like to see a step up from this, or do you think that the controller's perfect as is?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see a step up. And he on a point, it takes away from the whole console war thing, because that can turn into a politic-based thing, and we all know how politics run. We just butt heads like that, but we're still friends in the end. But yeah, I mean, it takes away from that. It makes things a little bit lighter, because when it all comes down to it, once you get past who has what and who doesn't have what, it's about what a video game can bring to you. The nostalgia, the experience, the overall gameplay, everything that a video game can bring to you should be on every platform. And it's nice that they're pushing that box to the side and thinking, hey, Sony showing us something, we'll give props to Sony. Let's take a step in the direction that they're going, and hopefully, it'll be a back and forth thing and not just from one major console.
Yeah, well said.
I know it's not what you meant, but which one's Republican and which one's Democrat?
That's wild. I don't know because the fan bases in both are like extremely arrogant. So
They really are.
It's like
it's like the extremist version of both groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like you have Republican A and Republican B with the arrogance and everything. So
what does that put Nintendo on PC?
They're the Green Party.
yeah, they're what is Sweden or
something? That's
something
the
like
Bernie
that.
Sanders that we want to believe in, but like it's not going to happen.
Play a Mario game with.
They're not going to give us free college.
They did make one of those, didn't they? It's almost like a Mario game, but it's a little. You play as a little Bernie Sanders.
Yes,
I thought the pixel sprite looked good.
I haven't seen that. I've only seen the one that PETA made several years ago, where you're a Tanuki trying to get your skin back from Mario in that like horror world.
God.
It's actually kind of fun. It's actually kind of fun.
I have to say my favorite industry video games are probably like the Burger King, like PlayStation 1 games.
Oh dear God!
Yes.
Someone help him.
There was, it's weird because there was one of those that was decent. I can't remember. It's that forgettable, but it might have been. I just remember really liking one of those. So,
well, bringing it back to Steven, he made a comment about how one company has something that the other one doesn't, and they can kind of learn from each other, and I'm just kind of hitting off everybody. One thing, so the PS5 has the DualSense controller, so what does the Xbox Series X get? It gets PlayStation 2 games, which the PS5 can't even do. So if you don't know, on the Xbox Series X and the Series S, or even Xbox One, you can actually access a developer kit version of the system directly from it. And there's a software that is allowing people to pretty much play PS2 games. So you can actually play PS2 games on your Xbox Series X before you can on your PS5. You can also play like GameCube and Dreamcast, like any kind of game that like you can run emulators and anything. So it's actually making like the Series S like the ultimate emulator machine.
Almost like a PC.
Yeah, it's almost like it runs Windows. Richard, are you?
But I'm sure that. No, I'm not. I feel like that probably voids the warranty or something. I'm sure that's not that's not something that they're advertising to, you should do this.
Right.
So
I
think
it's impressive that it has the power to do it at all. And because
my thing is like the guy from the article, he put it in developer mode.
Yeah, you have to get into a dev kit mode to be able to even access it.
Yeah, so that's my thing is, if I go to, I couldn't go to a store and get one right now, but let's say I could. If I go on my Xbox right now, is that something that I can just,
Yeah, it is. It's literally like a setting you toggle. I think you have to be like a beta tester, but you literally can just sign up for that in like 10 minutes. And then you can you can activate developer mode and just start doing it right from there. It doesn't.
I'm gonna be honest. I can emulate GameCube and PS2 on my PC, so it's not a big reason for me to go grab a Series
Okay,
X.
but if you were someone who, wanted to get into emulating, and I know Michael before, he's bought like the original Xbox, and to do that, and I don't know how hard it is to find those. But say for instance, you were like, well, I want to buy a next gen system, and it's kind of cool that the Series X and the S can do that too. So it's almost like you're getting more bang for your buck by buying a $300 Xbox, or even if you buy the Xbox One S now, which I assume that they're going to go down quite a bit in price here soon. I don't know. I just think it's interesting, but
I think for a large market, like a lot of that is not how feasible is it, or is this worth my time? It's just, can I?
yeah.
And so that's why you're seeing like a huge Raspberry Pi market. That's why you're seeing people use old hardware like the original Xbox.
This is a little off topic, but Michael, I'm pretty sure I saw that the new generation Raspberry Pis have M.2 slots in them, so you can put all those games on an SSD now.
Which is cool from like a form factor standpoint, because those drives can get really small, but at the same time, it's like you don't really get the speeds from it that I think. I mean, because you need a whole chip to really devote yourself to like PCI 3, PCI 4 speeds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really just from the form factor standpoint, and a couple other things use that M.2 style thing, like especially like Wi-Fi cards and Bluetooth cards. So, I think it's more for a modding standpoint than really just a drive space.
Yeah. Either way, it really caught my attention. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. All right, so we're gonna jump down to which I thought was kind of interesting because there's a lot of really big games coming out. There's a bunch of Xbox Game Pass for for the Xbox and PC and Android marketplace. It's got a bunch of new games coming out in December. So to quickly run through this list because most of them are coming out at the very beginning of this month, starting actually tomorrow. Doom Eternal's coming to the PC version. Let's see, we got Rage 2, Haven, Slime Rancher. I guess that's Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender Action. Never heard of it. Yes, Your Grace, Dragon Quest XI-S Definitive Edition, Call of the Sea, Monster Sanctuary, Starbound, Unto the End, Assetto Corsa, Gang Beast, Greedfall, Super Hot, and Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Any of these games stand out to y'all? Stuff that if you were to get Game Pass that you would be interested in picking up?
I think a lot of people who are doing the Epic Store already have the Epic Layer, so...
Is that a current one for this month?
No, it was a past one.
Okay. I must have missed that one. I didn't know that was on there. Steven, what were you going to say?
Super Hot. Only because I like the concept, and I watch like a lot of game theories. And they're trying to tie Super Hot into the Duck Hunt VR and into what was it called? Bone.
You threw Richard and I both off when you threw Duck Hunt in there. I saw his face.
Yeah,
that's like Duck Hunt. What is Duck Hunt VR?
Yeah, you've never heard of it?
No.
Okay, so they pretty much turned it into a horror game.
Nice.
Oh no!
Yeah, zombie ducks. Come on,
look into it before you shame it.
I want a VR experience where I shoot 8-bit ducks. That's
no. Well, no. The thing is, that's what it is on the surface. It's just basically it's a VR experience of you playing a souped up duck hunt. But
it starts out normal at first, and then it drives you slowly into madness, and you go quackers.
Dang.
At the very least, I'll send you the link to the theory so you can see exactly what I'm talking about.
I'll check it out.
My biggest concern with Super Hot is that game was made for VR. So how does that game work when you're on a system that doesn't have VR on it?
Yeah, what sort of quackpot theory is this?
2 for 2.
How many times will he make a quack joke? Give him another 10 minutes or so.
Who the duck knows?
I think the honestly the big one on here is I think Dragon Quest XI-S is the big one, because Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition is the Switch version that was released last year. That's got like the fully orchestrated soundtrack and like all the improvements to it that weren't on the PlayStation version. And as far as I know, that version also has not come out on the PlayStation. So that's and if you throw Nintendo out, like, I mean, that's still like a leg up for that particular game in Microsoft's corner. Sorry, Richard, not have to bring back that like shady little just shit on Sony comments.
Yeah, that's it. Every once in a while,
I'm sure you missed them.
I'm getting Monster Sanctuary.
Okay.
I won't be playing it on Game Pass. But I'm definitely buying that. I think it comes out December the 8th, I believe, is when it launches on consoles. I think it's been on PC for a while. I've not played it on PC yet, but that looks like a really awesome 16-bit Metroidvania style game, which I love the Metroidvania. But they've also added sort of a monster collecting Pokemon-like mechanic to it. So I've been waiting on that one. So yeah, I think it is this December the 8th on. I think it's coming to Switch as well.
I think I wish I had gotten more into ukulele. As much of a Banjo-Kazooie fan that I am, I never really had that same attachment to ukulele. And I know the sequel is like it's like a platformer instead of like a collectathon game. But I don't know, like, I mean, it looks cool, but at the same time, like, I feel like I need to beat the first one, and that's probably never going to happen. So I don't know. I maybe one day, but it's one of those things where like you buy like a billion Switch games and then half of them just sit in the back of your library. You don't ever play them or think about playing them again. It's sitting back there with like Fire Emblem, even though I really
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Actually, yeah, that's a better one. Luigi's Mansion, yeah, sitting back there, 4 floors left to go. I play Fire Emblem occasionally, even though I know my camera's kind of blurry, but you can actually see right there that my Switch has been relegated back to the collector shelf because of how infrequently I've been playing it. So it got in the way. So I was like, "Nope, you get to go back there and hang out now." Poor thing. Honestly, the last big thing, I know this is kind of more at Michael's corner, is the big Fortnite event that happened yesterday. Did you actually get to participate in it?
I didn't. I was at work, and honestly, I kind of wish they'd maybe had a few more days. I was trying to get a few more levels out of the season pass, but it is what it is.
So the big premise with this, they've been teasing this all it's Chapter 2, Season 4. They've had a lot of Marvel integration and the fact that Galactus was coming to the island. And then the ending of the event was the Avengers and everyone else and all the characters, like the players, facing off against Galactus. And then they beat him. And then the game shut down for like 10 hours while they rebooted everything. And now it's back. And it's like got a lot of like, I don't know what the exact theme is, but it's got like the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in it now. And I think one of y'all shared that Kratos was from God of War was coming.
Yep.
Which I don't know how that's going to work. I'm sure that's an exclusive skin for PlayStation. There's no way they're going to let that happen on Xbox and Switch. My biggest question, and like I said, Steven, I don't know how much you play Fortnite, but like, is there enough that they're changing in between seasons that's making you want to go back and keep playing it? Because I feel like it's kind of, for me, it's just over. Like I've had enough of it.
No, because I mean, aesthetic wise, yes, they change a lot. But when it comes down to it, there's not enough gameplay change for me to ever want to step back into it. I mostly play it on my Switch, but sometimes I'll play it on the Xbox or go off my brother's house and play it on PC and whatnot. But no.
Why would you elect yourself to such suffering to play that on the Switch? I've tried. It's terrible.
It was just when I got my Switch Lite, it was the only thing that was available at the time. You know,
That's
when
fair.
you buy the console and you've only got one other game, Pokemon,
Yeah.
kind of get burnt out on
Okay.
Pokemon. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
that's
you.
fair.
What were you gonna say, Michael?
Oh, I was going to I don't know. It's like akin to this torture where you have like your penis smashed by a hammer. That's why I equate Fortnite on the Switch to.
it's
But
terrible.
I mean, fair enough. Richard, being a Star Wars fan, do you want to play Fortnite just to get the Mandalorian skin and then never play it again?
No. I don't. I think I talked about it last week. The Fortnite people, before they made Fortnite, they made Infinity Blade, and then they completely took it off the iOS market. There's no way to play it. So until they somehow manage to re-release Infinity Blade or give it back to us, I don't want anything from them at all.
Wow.
I'm a grumpy old man.
I do think it's crazy that, like, with this being Chapter 2, Season 5, this is technically, what, the 15th season of Fortnite? And, like, you would think, I know mostly it's little kids. I'm going to put it this way. I think it's little kids that are still playing, and maybe teenagers, but I think most adults have moved away from it. That they're still able to get, like, all of these licensing deals for Disney and that's a blanket of Marvel and Star Wars and everything, and they've done DC and everything else. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy, and I think it's maybe just because Tencent has this a shit ton of money they're sitting on and they can do whatever they want with it. But if it's like one of those deals where these companies are approaching them, like, it's just still nuts that 15 seasons into this, it's like everything's a licensed skin now. Like, I remember, like, when the most exclusive skin was, you have to buy a Galaxy Note 8 or Note 9, and you get this, like, an actual Galaxy skin, and that was about as, like, cool as it got, or as far as licensing deals go. And now it's like, you can have Batman and Deadpool and Iron Man and a Galactus skin, and now you can get the Mandalorian with Baby Yoda following him around. It's too much.
He's got such a following. It's crazy.
Who, Baby Yoda?
I think more
let me ask you
people.
this, Richard. Since you have your foot in like the game development field, if Epic released all of the assets for Infinity Blade on their store, similar to the other game that they have on the store, and it's completely free, usable assets, so you can do whatever you want with, would you take that?
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I'd take that.
That's what I thought.
In a heartbeat, I would take that. That's fair. That's fair.
There you go.
Well,
Your move, Epic.
Yeah, they're not going to do that, but because I
Do
think
it for
was,
Richard.
I don't know, Chair. I think Epic bought Chair, so I mean, Epic owns it, but I think Chair was the actual studio, and I don't know what Chair's doing now.
Probably sitting around.
Waiting to be set on. Chair.
I mean, that's what I'm waiting for, dear viewers, is to be sat on.
Oh dear God.
speaking of getting sat on, 20 years ago, this dickbag, we're going to call him Geller, he went after Nintendo for using Kadabra, the Pokemon Kadabra, on Pokemon cards, and told them that they weren't allowed to use it because it was infringing on his likeness. And then 20 years later, he's changed his mind and apologized for how rude he was being. So now Kadabra can finally be printed on Pokemon cards. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't collect Pokemon cards a lot, but I never noticed that Kadabra was missing.
Me either.
Like, how do you... Michael, you play Pokemon TCG, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you can answer this. How do you get to Alakazam without Kadabra? Do they just let you go from Abra to Alakazam and call it a day?
Well, from what I've read, yeah.
Really?
So in the card games, they've kind of like scooted around the topic a bit, and even so, like at first, they did like the Rocket version, so it was Dark Kadabra, and the whole reason why you couldn't use Kadabra was because it's actually his Japanese name that sounds so much like that guy's.
Yeah, I should have.
So that's the reason why.
That
So
and
when you read it, Dark Kadabra or Rocket Kadabra in Japanese, it reads completely differently. And then
Gotcha.
they came up with a mechanic to basically skip the evolution. And then later on, they started releasing cards where it's like they're fully evolved already, so you don't need to worry about having Abra on the field. They're fully evolved.
The big thing with this, I left this out. The reason why there was such a likeness because Kadabra is like his ability in the meta of the Pokemon universe is him bending the spoons, and that's what this guy does for like a living. I guess is just bend spoons.
Yeah.
He's a psychic. Left that bit out, but yeah.
Wait, that was his copyright infringement.
That
or
was the
whatever?
other half of it was not only and for the Americans it's a play on words, it's Abra Kadabra Alakazam. But yeah, the Japanese reading of his name, along with the reading of the spoons, the guy was like, "What the fuck, Japan? What the fuck, Nintendo?" That's me. That's me. I don't have that big an ass, but that's me. And
Yes, in Japan, Kadabra is written in certain variations that include Young Geller
And he won his case.
yeah,
Yes.
Was it tried here?
I don't know if it actually
where
went
was
to.
tried at.
I don't know if it actually went to.
But
core.
Nintendo was basically like, yeah, we kind of did base it off of you, and he's like, well, fuck yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, he totally did. He sued Nintendo in 2000.
You can't admit to it. Then you do look guilty.
Yeah, he sued Nintendo in 2001. Asked that Nintendo Kadabra no longer be allowed to be put on Pokemon cards, which is so weird.
Now, if they were Chinese instead of Japanese, they could make basically a purple Wolverine and get away with it. But they have to abide by some legality.
Yeah. Anyway, his quote said, "I'm truly sorry for what I did 20 years ago. Kids and grown-ups, I am releasing the ban. It's now all up to Nintendo to bring my Kadabra Pokemon card back. My
Kadabra.
It's probably one of the rarest cards now. Much energy and love to all." He expanded on his decision, saying that due to the tremendous volume of emails I'm still getting, begging me to allow Nintendo to bring back Kadabra / Young Geller, I sent a letter to the chairman of Nintendo giving them permission to relaunch the Yuri Geller Kadabra Young Geller worldwide.
Yeah, right. He's getting death threats and stuff from like
He probably
13-year-olds.
is. Yeah. I'm gonna come to your house and beat you up in Fortnite.
I'm gonna bend all your spoons for you.
Throw
And your forks.
throw the shade. All right. So I think it was 2 weeks ago. You guys spent a lot of time talking about the Game Awards, which is happening next Friday. But there was actually another video game show that I forgot that was happening because it doesn't get hyped up as much, and that was the Golden Joystick Awards. So I don't know if this is a accurate representation of what we're going to see next week at the Game Awards or not.
Yes.
But I mean, pretty much The Last of Us Part 2 took home a ton of awards, to the point to where people are, I don't know if threats are the right word, but they're like throwing heavy amounts of shade at whoever hosted the Golden Joystick, saying that they were bought off by Naughty Dog and PlayStation, saying that they bought their awards and stuff like that. And I don't. Y'all think that's really happening, or is it just like that's just a good game and people actually like it?
It's gotta be something that people like. I mean, who would? I mean, I guess companies do buy off their own awards sometimes, but I mean, why go through the effort of it for such a quote unquote low tier award show? Award ceremony. Why would you go through that?
Well,
now,
go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
To be fair,
I remember back when it came out and all of the reviews were coming out, giving it 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s and 4 out of 5s and everything. There was a lot of people. Well, let me rephrase. When I say a lot of people, there's a group. When you think about it, like it sounds like it's a lot of people. But if you watch that video I sent earlier that was talking about this off camera, there was, talking about the a lot of people, quote unquote, that are on Twitter, which is technically like 4% of the people who use Twitter that tweet out 90% of the tweets from Twitter, which I think Twitter only has like, I don't know what the exact number is, like 17 million people use it, but only like 10% of those people are tweeting out 90% of the tweets from it. And in that group of people are the ones who really hated The Last of Us because it got leaked online. And those are the same people who, tried to destroy its Metacritic score and stuff like that. Those are the people who are against The Last of Us winning all of these awards at the Game Awards, if that makes sense. So, that being said, I don't know if really that many people think that The Last of Us was a terrible game and deserves to lose. I mean, I'm sure there are. But I also think that like there's like this silent majority of people who really enjoyed it. They don't even like get on Twitter and talk about it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Or even know what the golden joysticks are or the Game Awards.
Any time that I hear accusations, my immediate thing is to look at like the motive. The game's already been out. What's the motivation behind spending money to buy off an award show of a game that you've already released and you've already seen like phenomenal sales from? There's no reason to buy off an award show at all. I mean, Sony's got its fan base. The Last of Us has its fan base. I mean, golden joystick's not going to change any of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be
I don't know.
thing.
Have either of you had a golden joystick? I think some ladies might be really impressed.
Aside from that, I feel like there's no real motivation or logic behind, we really need to pay these people off so that we win all the award. I mean, it doesn't make sense at all.
I agree.
Well, do you think like this might flavor the future as far as video game critics go? Either like, for one, just not releasing a full game to critics, which can have its pros and cons, or releasing different versions of the game.
I don't know. As far as critics go, I'm not sure how to answer that. But as far as like the journalists who report on them and get the reviews out for people, I mean, they have to get the review units in. So that way, because I mean, that's their job, is to let people know how the game is, so that way they can help them decide if they want to get it or not. Now, I know IGN was one of the big ones that came under flack saying that, I mean, there were people literally saying, like, you guys were paid off by Sony, this game's terrible. Again, that majority of those, it's a very small pocket of people that are saying that.
Right, so it's all the people that have made a game before.
Yeah. Exactly. Now there was something that happened with Metacritic, because I'm sure you've probably heard it before, like games getting review bombed on Metacritic like the day they came out. They have started implementing policies to get people to not be able to review bomb games. By like, I think you have to, like, the reviewers, like the journalists they can put their reviews out to get like that personal Metacritic score for like from players like us. You have to wait like a week before you're allowed to submit a review for it. And most of the time by then, people usually are just going to give up. It's like, I'm not going to, like, I can't imagine somebody just being like, boy, I only got 6 more days till I can put that shitty review of The Last of Us up. Like, you're pretty much going to lose it. By then, it's going to go away. I'm sure there's some, but it's going to help with review bombing. I know there were several other games that had that problem too. I think Animal Crossing even got review bombed for a little bit. Not as bad as The Last of Us did. But Ghost of Tsushima got its fair share of it and everything else. But
I honestly don't see the purpose of critics. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like let's say...
Well, yeah. I mean, because honestly, if I want an honest review, I'm not even really looking for reviews. I'm looking for just flat gameplay. No commentary.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm looking for is how is it playing? Not really what the story is. I know if it's a series I like, I'm going to enjoy it. Just because people rag on like Pokemon, story development so bad. The story is meant for kids. It's meant to. It's filler.
Yeah.
The large part of the people are enjoying it either because they're in the age group that it's targeted towards, or for the competitive play, which, you're just trying to, run through the story anyway. You're pressing A bunch of times to skip cutscenes.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not really paying attention to it.
Yeah.
I just feel like the whole, like, just the critic thing in general, and I mean, this isn't just video games, this is TV, movies, everything. It's become such a toxic environment because if it's something you really enjoy and it gets reviewed, then you're like, oh, well, that's obvious. And if you really enjoy it and somebody slams it, it's immediately you jump to, well, they were paid off, or, they're this or they're that. And then all of a sudden it causes this ugly argument. And, I feel like a better review, or like a better like critical stance, similar to what Michael was just talking about, is, it doesn't have to be like a silent review where you just watch gameplay, but, if you talk about it, but you leave your opinion out of it. I mean, unless it's an opinion thing, but if this is going to be like a critical review, I don't think a critical review has room for an opinion. Because if you're reviewing a game that you don't even like the genre, I mean, it's going to show on your opinion of it. So, I think over the next few years, we'll see a change. There's still going to be like the opinion things. I consider what we do is more opinion based. But yeah, the whole critic thing, it's becoming toxic, and I think a lot of people are just tired of it.
Yeah. I know we took a very long tangent there, but Steven, getting back to what you were saying, I didn't mean that to go on for as long as it did. Do you remember what you were saying?
Not forgotten.
Yeah, let's go on to the Nexus.
Okay. Real quick before I continue, Chase in the chat says PS5 is getting review bombed because people can't get one.
Yeah, see, that's stupid as hell. I mean,
that's legitimate, though. That's legitimate.
Can I submit a review?
Well, but it's not. That's not a review. You can't review a system. Well, this system sucks because I can't find it in stores. That has nothing to do with the system. That's just
your fault for not camping.
People
camping, little bitch. Get out of that corner.
Like people's entitlement this day and age is just mind blowing.
I would like to do a special shout out to anyone working in retail who's had to deal with the angry mobs of people asking for PlayStations and telling you that you have them when you don't have them, and just making your life hell for the past week, because I know mine has. I'm surprised my hair's not gray, honestly, because I almost quit my job probably 3 times a day for the past week. But
if you want one, you'll probably get one by April. I mean, there it is.
Both systems.
It's life, man.
In
it's
the same
life.
box.
No. Yeah. All right.
He also. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
He also said that MC Kids on NES was one of the best platformers of its time. And damn it, is that not a fact?
It is.
It is. That was. Look, everybody knows it. God, that was a gem. It was a tie-in to McDonald's, but still.
I'm going to use my microphone to cover my face because I don't know what that is.
He did a lot of the older system game reviews and everything, and even he talked pretty good about it, and he like dog talk shit about a lot of the older console games. But like that was one of them that he had nothing bad to say about. I think he did McDonald's, he did Burger King, he did one for Dare. Dare came out with one.
No way.
Yeah. And I think that was the only one he didn't talk shit about out of that whole episode. It was a solid game.
It was solid. It had diversity. When you got to Grimace's world, like the difficulty rating kind of, at least from what I remember, the difficulty really came in. But man, yeah, loved MC Kids. Mitch, you got to play it tonight, man.
Yeah.
Mitch is going to bed when this is over. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Excuses,
definitely. I'm saving my energy because my sleep schedule is going to get absolutely wrecked when Cyberpunk comes out next Friday. So I'm saving my energy.
How can you sleep when you have so much Genshin Impact to play?
I sleep easily. I'm one of them scrubs who turns on a thunderstorm on their phone and then just passes out.
Oh, better than a thunderstorm. Switch to audio to Japanese and climb a mountain. You'll thank me.
Maybe. All right, let's just quickly. Other than The Last of Us winning like just about everything, there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on with these Golden Joystick winners. Best video game expansion, No Man's Sky. So getting some No Man's Sky love in there. The best, it's under the still playing category. Minecraft taking one in.
I mean, that's fair.
Fall Guys winning best multiplayer and best family game. And then this one I actually thought was kind of interesting, and I mean I don't know how I feel about it, but when y'all spent a lot of time talking about the best performer, I think is what it's called on the Game Awards. We're talking about Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey and the guy who plays Miles Morales and Hades and everything. On that list of people was not Sandra Saad, who won the Golden Joystick Award for playing Kamala Khan in the Avengers game. Do not
Shame.
Did not even think that was even going to win anything because I mean, the game.
Yeah, because they. Yeah. Well, did you see the thing I posted in the chat? Apparently, like sales have not even they're in the red.
Yeah, they haven't recouped
game.
all their money back from it. And stop making game with microtransactions. I just said microtransactions.
Microtransactions.
Now introducing though microtransactions.
All right, and then I actually like how they do this. They've got a PlayStation Game of the Year, an Xbox Game of the Year, a Nintendo Game of the Year, and then an Ultimate Game of the Year.
Ultimate.
Yeah. So PlayStation, obviously, Last of Us Part 2. Xbox, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I know, Steven, have you started Will of the Wisp, or are you still on Blind Forest?
Oh, yeah, I've started Will of the Wisp.
Do you think that's Xbox's 2020 Game of the Year? No. What is Xbox's 2020 Game of the Year?
I'm not really sure, but it's not that.
Don't say Flight Simulator.
Just because, and this is just my humble opinion. It's a good game. It's just my opinion. That's not what you're going to see somebody who plays avidly like Call of Duty and Tom Clancy's and those types of things. Something that's on the far side of the genre spectrum. Just say, oh, this game looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and play it. When I think of a game of the year, this is something that's pulling from every genre that everybody's like, okay, this is a decent game. I'd love to play it. And that's just not one of those games.
Yeah.
So that's just why I am with it.
I'm going to interject.
No, I'm
not going to defend it. I'm going to say that, when you think of Call of Duty and stuff like that, that's probably more mainstream. And when you think of movies, who wins Oscar, movie of the year, you think it's going to be this or that, but then it's The Pianist.
Right.
And you're just like, what the hell? I think it's probably the same thing. They look at the art direction and the sound, and it's this huge encompassing package that not necessarily a lot of people look for because they're busy playing Call of Duty or whatever. And it flies under a lot of people's radars, but there it is.
Look, I haven't started Will of the Wisps. I have it downloaded. But I will say, when I first booted up Ori and the Blind Forest, I had maybe about 30 minutes to play the game before I had to leave from whatever I was doing. And that game just breaks your damn heart, right in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And, if that sequel can hit those same story beats, I guess, but also improve off of the game, I mean, look, you also have to take in consideration what else did it have to compete against, as far as Microsoft first party this year. Literally, it's Flight Simulator and Gears Tactics and Ori. And then, two other things that I can't even remember, so they're not even relevant. So as far as an Xbox Game of the Year, I mean, it probably won just because Halo didn't come out this year. Halo probably would have taken that. Or if a new Gears game, an actual Gears game had come out, something like that. And then Nintendo's Animal Crossing. I mean, it really helped a lot of people get through the pandemic, or most of the pandemic, or I don't know. It's sold.
Wait, is it over?
I don't know. I mean, the stupid game sold 18 million copies since March.
It helped us cross through the darkness.
It's their fastest selling game of all time. It's
nice.
But I mean, yeah. Actually, it's probably more than that now because I can't even tell you the last time I've seen a copy of Animal Crossing in Walmart because they literally just
I'm kind
go
of
away.
pissed that I can't be an animal.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
why am I human? It's weird. It's weird. It's weird to be a human on an aisle of like anthropomorphic animals, and I can't be one.
Right.
Because
I don't like it.
Well,
too many animals, not enough crossing. We want to have babies.
you just woke up. You just woke up the entire furry community.
Oh yeah.
Well, they should. Well, yeah. I mean, you got to think about them. And then even what Michael said, like, why can't you like be somebody?
Yeah.
Just want to be.
I want my little. I can move in with my Egyptian cat.
Yeah.
Big rip to my island. It's forever gone. Never looking
Nice.
back.
It's not gone. It's covered in weeds.
No.
And everybody's
that,
wondering where the hell you went.
That game was on my Switch Lite, and I sold that to somebody, so I formatted it. So it's gone.
Well, yeah, but it should be tied to your account though, shouldn't it? Oh, it's a save.
It was back before they allowed you to cloud save your accounts or your islands.
Gotcha.
So I ain't worried about it. I'll probably never play that game again. So, and if I do, I deserve to start over. But yeah.
Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
I'm sure something's going on.
It's behind you. It's right behind you.
Okay, real quick before we get off with the golden joysticks, Ultimate Game of the Year, The Last of Us Part 2. And I know you guys probably read the article, but their most wanted game of 2021 is God of War Ragnarok. Do you guys agree with that, or is there another game you think should have won that one instead?
Is that coming out in 2021 though?
Yep, it is. Their PS5's launch year starts off with Ratchet and Clank and Horizon Forbidden West and ends with God of War 2 or God of War Ragnarok.
I mean, I'm a Sony guy, so yeah. But I mean, trying to think of everything that's projected to come out next year, I think my hype level's kind of. I'm really, because Vampire's been pushed back so much. I'm a huge Vampire Bloodlines fan, so I'm probably looking forward to that more than Ragnarok. But I know that's just little old me. I'm sure that there's a huge group, and I would join them if they were standing in a line somewhere for God of War Ragnarok. So I mean, yeah, that's fair. I can see it from a Sony standpoint.
Yeah. All right, from Steven, from a Microsoft standpoint, I guess. What's your most anticipated game of 2021?
I don't know. I haven't thought much about it. To be honest, I haven't really even been paying attention to what's coming out in 2021.
I can tell you that Cyberpunk will be, because it'll be December 9th, and then that game's going to get delayed to indefinitely 2021. It's just never coming out.
But yeah, to hit on God of War, I didn't get to play the God of War that came out on PS4, but I did watch the extensive gameplay on it, and like that game just to me was a phenomenal. Partially because I love the Nord mythology. I love it more than I like Greek, and if it's going to be anywhere as intense as the God of War that came out on PS4, it's going to be. Yeah, I'm definitely going to jump behind that.
Yeah. Michael, anything coming out next year that you're more excited for than Genshin Impact?
I think I am excited to see Cyberpunk. I think that's going to be a really good game, actually.
Well, hopefully that still comes out next Friday and isn't a 2021 title. I was just kidding. We started getting promotional material in for it, so I'm assuming it's actually happening, and somebody got their... I saw it on Twitter earlier. Somebody got their Cyberpunk Deluxe Edition in the mail early, so they're able to go ahead and start playing it. So I guess it's actually making its way out there. I actually don't know what mine would be. I mean, I really want to play Far Cry 6, but that could honestly be 2022. So
I forgot about Far Cry.
I'm gonna hold my breath and say that Breath of the Wild 2 is actually coming out next year, and I'm gonna go with that.
I think there was I'm not sure if it was a rumor or a news article, but they're coming out with another like Pokemon remake too. So
yeah, it's
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, is it Alpha Starfire or Alpha Sapphire or
Oh
something?
yeah,
Like
they've
that? Or
already made.
Aquas.
Are they doing a
They've already
remake to the
done.
remake?
Well, they've already done Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I
Sapphire.
think that
Yeah.
article was saying that it was going to be a collection of what Gen 1 through 3. I think that's what it was. It was going to be like a red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal, and then ruby, sapphire, emerald.
Sapphire.
I mean, that'd be cool.
I don't know. The next generation that's due for a remake is Gen 4, which skip.
Which one was Gen 4?
Diamond,
Was that
Pearl, and Platinum.
That was one of my favorite.
That
I
was
know
the
it
one I
gets so much
skipped.
hate, and I understand the hate. I completely get it, but because of
Like,
the sheer lack of Pokemon and how creative they had to be with the gym leaders, that was one of my favorite. Like, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, the fire gym leader had a Gyarados. So
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's
Of all
actually
the
kind
fucking
of like
things.
that's actually kind of interesting. I mean, Gyarados, I'm pretty sure can learn fire moves. So
I mean,
Yeah.
because when the game first came out, there was literally only 2 fire Pokemon in the game, and one of them was the starter, and the other one was the Ponyta Rapidash line,
yeah,
and that was it. And you didn't get like
Well, you
the
had
choice to
Magmar.
even get Flareon until post game, so it was like stupid, no fire Pokemon at all.
I will say, as someone who never played those games, Cynthia, the champion, I think she has the best final boss music of all time.
Yes,
yeah.
I've heard so
That
many
song
remixes.
slaps so
Yeah.
good, especially I love the Smash remix of it. Like I enter like pro gamer mode listening to that while playing Smash Brothers. But
The thing
anyway,
that stuck out the most that about that was I realized how morbid the game can be. Like, I mean, it's always been like I think after the first generation, it was always like some type of end of world type sequence towards between the seventh and the eighth badge.
yeah, something
But
like
they
that.
actually got to talking about people actually dying in a war, and it tied to some lore saying that's the reason why you rarely see any grown-up Pokemon trainers other than the Elite Four and some of the gym leaders. And some of the gym leaders are still like young in age, and they're saying that all of the people had died off at war. And
Yep.
this was like, yeah. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I
Yeah.
kind of looked at Pokemon differently, but I still love it.
It was if I remember correctly, it was a war between people who thought that Pokemon should be slaves versus people who thought Pokemon should be free and like be your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like if I'm remembering that right, that's how that went. But they really, this is a big Pokemon tangent. But going off of that, in Gen 5, you had that Billy, I can't remember his name, that really tall, like 3,000-year-old dude who like sacrificed his Pokemon to get this like cannon that was supposed to wipe out everyone in existence. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, you're right. I forgot his name, but yeah,
It's like
isn't
it AZ? Isn't it just
AZ? Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, like I don't know. That's just it gets really dark. Richard's like, I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
I mean,
I
it can get
don't.
dark
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah,
especially
shit
like
gets real.
the jellyfish that just pull people down into the ocean because they just want to.
Humboldt jellyfish.
Really?
If you go diving in the Humboldt Channel, they actually chain you to the boat because they'll wrap you up and try and pull you down. It's supposed to be like an awesome experience, but you have to be
Right.
chained to the boat.
Wow.
They got like some kind of
To me, that's
drugs they like
that's
hit
a
you with.
nightmare. I have no idea why anyone would like pay money and be like, "Yes, I want to do that." Try and pull me into the abyss. I mean,
Well,
no
usually
way.
people pay women to do that to them, but I mean, jellyfish is something else.
Pull people into the abyss. No, that's marriage.
Oh,
No, that was a marriage joke. I mean,
I'm telling your wife.
shots fired.
Unfortunately, there's only a subway, not a Dom way, but Dominoes. There we go.
Oh. All right. Well, let's get off of that. I actually
Back to video games.
Yeah, I brought a question because I heard somebody talking about this and I thought it'd be interesting. what I think we kind of already talked about. Well, no, we haven't. Never mind. What is your most forgettable game of this year? Like out of everything in particular, not maybe like in as far as like press wise, but something that you've played, something that you thought was like the most forgettable thing that you've picked up this year, if you have one.
Dauntless.
That's a good one.
Like I like as much as I want to enjoy that, like there's a really steep leveling mechanic at a certain point, and it's just like, why? And you have to ascend all these different armor sets, and you have to make sure you have multiple different armor sets to really be competitive in the game. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I want it to be better, but Dauntless.
Either one of y'all got one?
I don't know. I feel like there probably is one, but it's like kind of like a trick question. If there is, I've
Yeah,
probably
you
forgotten
got
it.
it. Mine is and it actually has nothing really to do with the game itself. It's just the timing of the release. Mine was Bug Fables. It came out the first week of April, and it had gotten delayed. It's supposed to come out in like January, but the game was supposed to be like a spiritual successor to like the original Paper Mario, and the way you had like partners and the turn-based battle and everything, and it got delayed until like the first week of April, and then like in March, Nintendo's like, "Hey, we have Paper Mario: The Origami King," and it comes out a week later. So then Bug Fables. So I bought it and messed with it a little bit, and I was like, "This doesn't feel right." And then when the Origami King came out, it went to go die in the back of my Switch. I really hate it because that's like one of the few games that I've like kickstarted before or like became a Kickstarter backer for, and it just didn't hit home like I thought it would.
I tell you what else, and like it makes sense that the industry made so many of them because they're kind of like MOBAs in a sense, because you know those were the hip thing at the time. But like loot shooters, you know, you got so many Fortnite clones. I have a couple of them installed: Hyperscape, the Cycle, stuff like that, and like there's not a huge draw to them. I mean, besides like you know the initial mechanic of oh okay yeah, like instead of like you know a landscape we're all having to coalesce on, it's like a cityscape or you know whatever. But yeah, past that initial phase, there's nothing really outstanding about any of them.
Yeah,
Oh, I've got one.
let's hear it.
Uh-oh.
The Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh,
There you go.
that's a
Yeah.
hot
I mean,
take.
I bought it when it came out. It's gotten overshadowed by so much over the year, and I've always said that I'll go back. And I mean, eventually I probably will, but I can't tell you when that is. And that's something I don't really think about a lot. That I was really, really interested in and excited to get, and then I got it, and here we are. I'll tell you, I was finishing up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And the plan was to start Final Fantasy VII after that, but I did something. Oh, you know what? Instead of that, I went to Sekiro. I decided to give it another shot, and that's all she wrote. And then after that, it was just one thing after another, and I never went back. I mean, I need to go back. I want to go back, but yeah, it keeps getting overshadowed. Especially now, I'm burying myself. I got Immortals is going to unlock in like half an hour. I'm one trophy away from a platinum on the new Demon Souls. So I'm about to move on. But after that's going to be Valhalla. So I don't know. I'll get to it sometime in 2021, I hope.
Yeah, there's a whole year ahead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming it doesn't end.
Ugh.
We can talk.
It's got to be better than this one.
We can talk about that because there's a hot conspiracy theory going around about how
The
apparently
season finale of Earth.
yeah apparently the whoever came up with the modern calendar apparently lost 8 years whenever he was translating things over, or he lost like 12 days per year, and then across the 200 and some odd years it's been since that, we've lost 8 years. So apparently December 21st of this year is actually 12/21/12, which is when the Mayan calendar was supposed to end. So
Is this is this information brought by that priest that stole donations from his church not once but twice and then left.
Are you talking about Joel Osteen?
No, no,
Oh.
there was some other pastor. It was like he was like the end of the world is coming. Collect all these donations, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm off by a couple years," and then he did it again. And the second time,
I know
just
who you're
fucking
talking about.
booked.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. No, it was just something I'd seen passed around on the internet, but whatever. Anyway, Steven, did you come up with a forgettable game of 2020?
Not really.
Okay. Well, let's
He forgot all of them.
yeah. Let's flip it around. What has been your most memorable game of 2020? Can be anything that's come out across this whole year.
I would have to say it's No Man's Sky.
Oh.
Wow, my heartstrings.
I know. I feel like Family Feud. I want to be like, good answer, good answer.
Yeah, good answer. Yes, go.
While I was gonna go with Genshin Impact, I just had to give it to No Man's Sky only because I was like an avid Subnautica player. And I was like, there's no survival game out there that could possibly take me away from it. And then No Man's Sky was mentioned to me, and it's different, and I like it because you're not just confined to one world trying to get off of a planet because of a quarantine. You're free to explore multiple planets, and it's not just exploring the planets. You can actually have careers in the game, and there's so much in there to do. I don't play it as much as I'd like to, but every time I pick it up, there's something for me to do, and that's something that a lot of survival horror games are missing. Like there's maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 at the most things for you to do, and you're just doing them repetitively in a certain order, and you're having to follow that storyline, to progress and to get to different areas to see something amazing. And it's not like that with No Man's Sky. So I truly do appreciate that.
I'm glad I could help you.
Richard, you got one?
I don't know, because like Demon Souls, I feel like the Demon Souls remake is phenomenal. However, it's essentially the same game that I played years back, so I don't feel really right to say that. And then I'm leaning towards Valhalla, but I'm not too far into it, so I feel like it's a little bit premature. But that's probably what I'm gonna go with because it's just.
What about Doom Eternal?
Oh yeah! Wow. Forgettable games. We're gonna go back to that. No. Doom Eternal's so great. It's really unfair to us. Okay. Since I put so much time into Doom Eternal, that's probably the best answer. Valhalla may take it, just because, God, there's little to nothing, in my opinion, better than Assassin's Creed. But with what I've played of it, then yeah, we'll go with Doom Eternal. That's a good answer, Mitch.
Woo! Yeah,
that's
good
my
answer. Good answer.
I gotta play the DLC that's come out for it. I don't know. I was gonna get it, but then that was about the time Microsoft bought Bethesda, so I was in a fuck Bethesda mode, so I never got it. I need to go back and get it.
I think by the time you get through with Assassin's Creed and all of its DLC, you could probably write it off as being your 2021 most memorable game.
Probably, because a good piece of 2020 was spent playing Odyssey and all of its DLC. So
yeah. Michael, I'm assuming yours is Genshin.
I would love to say Genshin, and there
What?
are some. I would love to. I really would, and I'm really into it. And there were some incredible cutscenes, especially there's one with Dayluk, and it's one of the most phenomenal broadsword fight scenes I've ever seen. But I'm gonna give this to Spellbreak. I've played a lot of multi mayhem sort of shooters and stuff like that, and I gotta say, whether I get a win or a loss, I always feel satisfied when I play Spellbreak. Like whenever I win that, I feel like I didn't cheese something. Like I feel like that's a truly phenomenal win.
Okay.
anytime I play that.
I think had I gotten the opportunity to play it, I may have given Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity mine. But since I hadn't, I'm going to have to cop out and say The Last of Us, probably my most memorable game. It actually, and sitting here saying that, I almost just decided to say Phasmophobia instead. But I'm going to give it to The Last of Us. There's so much more depth in that game than there is in Phas. That like there's just so much I could go on and on. Like I talk to people all the time about our little spooky ghost adventures and stuff, but like
there is, you can play something constantly and consistently, something that has to really just grab you to it to really say, this is memorable.
yeah.
Mhm.
But with The Last of Us, though, I mean that was 35 hours within like the course of a week or so, just just getting immersed in this world and these characters. And much as I hate Abby, by the way, I completely disagree with y'all's thoughts on Laura Bailey. I think she's fantastic. But anyway,
Who is that?
She's the actress who plays Abby.
Oh,
But
yeah, but you can't know.
her
You
character
can't
was
like Abby.
Steven, as someone who watched all the live streams, how did you feel about Abby at the end of The Last of Us Part 2?
She was a bitch. I hated her.
Man,
I hated her.
if you know everything about that game, she's not. I mean, everyone's the hero of their own story. Let's just put it that way. But,
Mhm.
and that's.
But she just felt like an antagonist.
I mean, that was kind of the point. But then they wanted you to.
That's really subjective. Everybody's the hero of their own story.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, if you sit there and think about everything that you were forced to do as Ellie in that game, like, there are people who say that she's the antagonist of that story.
You could be a horrible, garbage human being and still be the hero of your own story. I mean,
well, I'm just saying, I have Chase on my side because he said it'd be Last of Us 2. So there's two of us. So the last two of us. But
you know what I would like to see more of in like those choose your own adventure games is seeing what kind of role a pacifist role has. Like you're trying to make a decision. What's the best decision? What happens when you don't choose or don't choose fast enough?
oh no, that's like okay, a pacifist in a situation like The Last of Us 2 or The Walking Dead or anything, they're the first to go.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
they're dead in the first few months.
I mean, pretty much.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just saying nothing will ever quite hit that moment, even though you're playing as Abby, but this is kind of late game. Sorry if there's a little bit of spoilers. The game's been out for 6 months. You all get over it. But you're...
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, hot take.
Get
I
over
mean,
it.
Yeah, get over
A
it.
PlayStation 4
Yeah,
to play that.
yeah.
Or find one
you
because
are-
so many people bought those instead of PS5s because they were stupid.
He's not wrong. There's this scene where like you are having to like escape. I've probably talked about it before. This like island. You're trying to get off this island that you were on for like the last part of Abby's story, and the whole like island gets set on fire, and you're trying to escape it on horseback. And it was completely out of the blue that this was like something that was going to happen. And it is like very like a dark like grayish game with like with green foliage everywhere and everything, or foliage. I think I said that wrong. But then all of a sudden everything's just on fire, and you're just trying to escape, and it's got like all these oh shit moments in it, and it was great. And then
And you control Abby? See, that doesn't work for me because I would want to throw her into the fire.
Steven, how many times did I kill Abby in the live stream? I was like,
Oh my goodness.
all these things wouldn't happen if she did. Oh, she fell off this roof.
It was almost intentional.
Yeah.
Isn't there's multiple endings, right?
There's two. There's one if you 100% the game, and there's one if you just beat it.
Isn't there one where Abby kind of karma?
I'm going to spoil the ending of The Last of Us Part 2. So thank you so much for watching Next Gen Newsweek. If you don't want to know how the story ends, and we'll be back next week, Wednesdays at 9:30, or check the audio version on Spotify. So the ending of the game, once you think that the Abby bit is done, they have the confrontation. Ellie beats the absolute hell out of Abby. You escape and you go back home to your Ellie's girlfriend, and I think she's had the baby at this point. Yeah, she had the baby, and then all of a sudden Joel's brother comes up and he's like, "Hey, we need to go kill Abby instead of just beating the hell out of her." And Ellie's like, "Okay, I'll do it by myself." So she leaves, and then they go out to California. And then Abby gets kidnapped by this group of I don't know what they're called. It's some kind of gang. They kidnap her and they string her up on a pole and leave her to die out by the ocean. And Ellie ends up. Oh, sorry, I was reading chat. Ellie comes up and actually takes her down off the pole, and then they're getting ready to act like they're gonna leave together. And then you get into this fight, you're playing as Ellie again, but it's kind of like one of those quick command fights where you're not actually controlling it, you're just hitting X or square at the right times to make sure Ellie dodges and everything. And it gets to the point to where Ellie's drowning Abby in the ocean, and then she lets off at the last minute, and Abby bites her finger. She bites off I think it's her ring finger and her pinky finger on her left hand. And then she just lets them leave. And then she goes back home. And then her family, her girlfriend and their baby left. They're just gone. They left her behind.
All right, knowing that, I'm going to say that Naughty Dog definitely paid off the Golden Joystick Awards. There is no way in hell. That has to be the worst ending I have ever heard. And I have heard some pretty lousy-ass endings. Why would you not just keep her damn head underwater? I don't understand that. That's the same. That's you've got 500 opportunities to kill Negan, but you just don't do it. You just don't do it. It makes no sense.
There's a lot more depth there than just that. That's just the black and white ending of it. But
yeah, but people aren't that deep. Trust me. If that was a real life situation, Ellie would have killed Abby. Probably before all that crap with Joel's brother.
Actually, Steven, you may remember. Actually, you play as Abby in that first boss fight, and Abby spares Ellie. That's how that happens. Not Ellie spares Abby.
It was one of those you're even type deals.
Yeah. So you're playing as Abby, and she spares Ellie at the end of that boss fight. That boss fight sucked. That's the only time I've died 4 times in that game, back to back, was because of that boss fight. Because Ellie's a sneaky little bitch. She would craft these little trip mines, and I'd always walk into them, and then my legs are just on the other side of the room.
Beautiful.
But anyway,
I'm probably never going to play that game.
It's got its ups and downs, and it's not just gravitating towards the middle, and it just veers off a little bit. It'll go wide left and it'll go wide right, to where this is an absolutely amazing game, and then what the hell, and it's just all over the place. And I mean, it's a decent game for what it's worth. The ending was shit though.
Yeah.
The irony of the end of it was that the one thing that was left behind for her, I think it's not a spoiler also if we spoil the ending of the game, that Joel dies in the very beginning. Abby kills Joel. That's why everybody hates her. But the one thing that was left behind for her when she goes back to the house that she had with what's her face was the guitar that Joel had given her back when she was at the ending of the first game. I think it happened off screen or something. But she's missing her finger, so she can't play it anymore. That was the part of I guess it's dramatic irony of it.
Because the bitch that bit her fingers off, she let her live. Come on, what the hell?
Anyway, we've gone on for a little bit too long this episode, so let's go ahead and plug socials. We're obviously going to say everything because it's awesome, but you can find links to everything down in the description as well. Steven, start with you.
SoundCloud. I've been doing a lot more work on SoundCloud. Been working with a couple of people on YouTube actually, and that's actually a refreshing turn of events. You can check me out on SoundCloud at Breaker Beats 2020. I also want to give a shout out to one of the guys that I'm working with, Shadowmatic YT. He's doing gameplay on Call of Duty Mobile. It's kind of an underrated game that nobody really plays anymore, but I like his spirit. We used to play all the time when I played it. But yeah, check him out. He's on the up and up. He's been working on his editing. The skills are there because he's a legendary rank, so it's not just bullshit gameplay. So yeah, you can go holler at him and give him a check out.
All right, Richard.
Check me out at Board Game Breakdown. I am on YouTube. Not a whole lot of new content. I'm going to be honest. The holidays are here, and it's usually a really, really busy time for me. There's probably not going to be a lot of new content until after the first of the year, but bear with me. It is coming, but check me out on Facebook and YouTube, Board Game Breakdown.
All right, and Michael.
Open box tech deals. Let's see. A lot of retailers are doing Cyber Monday, but it's really just kind of going throughout the week, and some of it's just a continuation of like the Black Friday deal. So you still have a chance to get like deals on video games and such. Lots of good deals on Amazon to check out too. And then unsolicited nudes. We're still so moist with our nudes. So come and check us out. It's NOODS.
I logged back into Facebook for the first time in like a month and a half earlier today, and first thing I got hit with was some unsolicited nudes, and it was great.
You're welcome.
It was
I love
great.
it.
It was like someone who spilled like a lasagna in their car or something.
That was not lasagna.
I wasn't paying attention.
Richard doesn't comment on a lot, so you know it was pretty bad.
I don't know what the hell that was.
I think there was vegetables in that. That's the worst part.
There was
like zero cheese.
There was
absolutely
no cheese.
Zero cheese in that. Yeah.
It wasn't lasagna noodles. It was spaghetti noodles, and it had what looked like, I don't know, like red
Green
cold
peppers?
carbonara or
Yeah.
something. It was pathetic. But like,
And like
that poor family lucked out.
The comment attached was like, "Somebody help me! I've spilled the lasagna." I was like, "Where? What the hell is that? It looks like vomit." It's crazy.
All right. If you want to find me on the internet, it's Twitch and Twitter at Meechflow. I actually just put some new designs up on my Redbubble shop, so I updated the video description to have the Redbubble shop in there too. Having a bit of a writer or creator's block with that, so I'm not putting out enough stuff. But as far as Twitch goes, I let someone borrow my capture card, but I'm going to try to get that back before Cyberpunk comes because I want to stream that. So I'm going to get back into streaming with Cyberpunk because I am buying that on the Xbox Series X and not my PC. So gonna be fun.
Finally have a game to play for the new console.
Yes. What? Oh, I guess we could do what? Well, we're running over. We'll talk more about what other games we're playing. I know Richard is really excited because Immortal Phoenix Rising unlocks in what?
11 minutes and 7 seconds.
Oh my gosh! Just in time. It's time to get a snack.
It is close.
We can talk about Greek mythology next week. But all right. Hope you all have a fantastic week. We'll see you back this time next week. 9:30 p.m.
Later, guys.
Central. Michael, take us home.
Bye. This week's podcast is brought to you by the debate of the century, Politibox. It comes in red and blue. Pick your side.
Politibox.
Bye, guys.
Bye.